Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Marty Umbarger. Served a few years in this great Indiana National Guard that we have here. I thank you for being with us today. Particularly, I look out here and I see all our veterans, guys, gals. Thank you for your service. God bless you. I see a lot of guys and gals are still wearing the uniform they're currently serving. That God bless you. Thank you for your service. It was an honor to walk in the ranks with you. And I see the children. I see our youth of our state. Thanks for being here, young ladies and young men, and supporting the veterans. And I hope someday each and every one of you have the opportunity to maybe wear a uniform and serve this state and serve this country. Governor Pence, members of the General Assembly that are here that sponsored so many of these bills, members of the American Legion, the Veteran of Foreign Wars, the AMVETS, disabled American veterans, all the veterans out there. You know, this is an historic, for veterans, this is a great day for all Hoosier veterans. Today, our governor is going to sign 13 bills that's related to benefits to our veterans and to our families. There's too many of these to really talk about, but if you permit me, I'd like to talk about a couple of them that are pretty close to me. Senate Bill 295, the Military Relief Fund. Let's go back in time. We all remember that day, 9/11, when we were attacked, and right after that, the General Assembly members that we elected made a decision to create this Military Family Relief Fund. And it was through license plates that the citizens of our state could be able to get a license plate that says support our troops. Many of you do that, and that money went into a fund. There was also the ability for veterans, Navy, Marine, Army, Coast Guard, Air Force, whatever you were, you could get a license plate that said Hoosier Veteran, Army Veteran. They were created. The fund didn't have any money at that time. It was there to support any veteran that might have an issue or a little challenge in life financially, a little shot in the arm, if you will. But the decision was made by those initially that would only be for those veterans that served after 9/11. Well, it was a great thing. The fund has grown. It's helped many, over 800 has been helped by this, but now the governor will sign the bill that will open it to all veterans of all wars, of all conflicts. As it well should be. Another bill, House Bill 1313, called Hoosier Veterans. Our state is filled with great those who are willing to serve. We have some of the great monuments that General Goodwin here in attendance that manages for the state, our Soldiers and Sailors Monument, our War Memorial, 24 acres dedicated to veterans downtown Indianapolis. We have over 500,000 veterans in this state. But you know, through a quirk a little bit in the system, there's about 100,000 or so that's been an Army reservist, a Navy reservist, a Marine reservist, a National Guard soldier or airman that did not serve for 6 months or more in federal status, was not able to actually have the privilege of being called a Hoosier veteran. That is a wrong. That's going to be changed today when the governor signs this bill. Governor, thank you so much. And over 100,000 will now become veterans. And now, if you'll permit me, it's my opportunity to introduce someone that really needs no introduction, a man that I had the opportunity to work with for a number of years when he was a 6th-term congressman at the 6th District. Part of his district is a little place called Camp Atterbury. I think you know about it, a great training facility that is known throughout the nation. And with his support during that 6 terms, we were able to grow Camp Atterbury to something we're very proud of. And then had the opportunity and privilege to be his adjutant general and work for him directly for 2.5 years. And I'll tell you, he is a man that he, many times we've talked, we've been together and we've talked about service and we've talked about all the things going on. And with a little quiver in his lip and his voice kind of shaking just a little bit, he'd always look at me and said, "General, I may not have served, but I am so daggone proud to be the son of a soldier and the father of a Marine. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming our governor, the Commander-in-Chief of the Indiana Army and Air National Guard, the Honorable Mike Pence.
Thank you, Major General Umbarger. Thank you for those kind words. I am deeply moved by your esteem, by your ongoing commitment to those who serve and those who have served in the state of Indiana, the second longest serving adjutant general in the 200-year history of the state of Indiana. We thank you again for your service to the state and this nation. I'm honored also to be joined by a number of members of my cabinet. Jim Brown of the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs, who is with us, and members of his team. Honored to be joined on what clearly needs to be a bigger stage. But here in Indiana, Hoosiers honor our heroes. And a crowded stage at a Veterans Bill signing tells you all you need to know about how much Hoosiers cherish those who have served in the uniform of the United States of America. Honored to be joined by members of the General Assembly, but also by some of the leadership of the outstanding veterans organizations here in the state of Indiana. On the stage, Larry Lowry with the American Legion, William Weberding with VFW, Ron Martin of AMVETS, and Terry Sanders of DAV. Join me in thanking these outstanding leaders who played a key role in moving all of this legislation forward. I'm honored that you could join us today. Also, I would tell you that the support for veterans in the General Assembly is as evidenced by those who've made time to be here today, legislators who were instrumental in authoring and moving the legislation that will sign into law on this occasion. The support for our veterans is overwhelming and bipartisan. The people of Indiana cherish those who have served, and these legislators are emblematic of that esteem, and the energy that brings these 13 bills forward today is due and owing to the hard work and long hours of these members of the General Assembly. Allow me to mention all of those that are present, and if you'll hold your applause, and I'll ask you to give them a rousing thanks as well. To Senator Sue Glick, Senator Jim Tom, Senator Luke Kenley, Senator Jim Arnold, Senator John Ford, Senator Brant Hirschman, Senator Jim Arnold, Representative Dale Devon, Representative Bruce Borders, Representatives Bob Morris and Jim Baird, Representatives Doug Gutwein and Randy Fry, Representatives Chuck Mosley, John Bartlett, Representative Carly Macer, Representative Peggy Mayfield, and Senator Dennis Cruz. The bills I were signed were authored and carried most notably by all of the outstanding legislators who are on this stage. Join me in thanking each and every one of them. Would you please? General Umbarger said it well. It's always humbling for me to be at occasions like this, to be among men and women who step forward and put on the uniform of the United States. I'm deeply humbled to the active duty military members who are here, members of all of our branches of our armed forces, and I am most proud in all of my various official roles. I'm frankly most proud to be Commander-in-Chief of the Indiana National Guard and our armed forces in this state. We've worked since the outset of our administration to put veterans first in Indiana. I'm proud with the support of members of both political parties in the General Assembly to have signed legislation to have doubled the funding for the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs in recent years. I'm proud that we improved the Indiana Veterans Homes to a 5-star out of 5 facility. We help hundreds of military and veterans families through the the IDVA's Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program. We actually launched the Women in Indiana Veterans Program to serve our women veterans more effectively in this state. And I'm also so pleased that we signed legislation to train accredited county veteran service officers and to make it possible for businesses to prioritize the hiring of veterans. And on a day like today, when we see terrorism raise its ugly head among the people of Brussels, I am proud that Indiana was among the very first states to allow our National Guard to carry service firearms. People who wear the uniform to defend our state and nation must be allowed to defend themselves. And here in Indiana, we led the way. But today, I know we just finished what's called a short session of the Indiana General Assembly, but there was nothing short about the agenda that these legislators and our administration worked to move on behalf of Hoosier veterans. And let me recount for you in very short order the bills that I will sign today in the presence of so many heroic Hoosiers. House Enrolled Act 1312, Representative Gutwein authored this legislation. It allows veteran-owned businesses to register directly with the state of Indiana, creating more opportunities for veteran business enterprises. Senate Enrolled Act 145, authored by Senator Banks, Mishler, and Houchin, would require the Department of Veterans Affairs to work with veteran service organizations to set a standard for unclaimed remains of deceased veterans, showing the dignity to all of those who serve. Senate Enrolled Act 295, also authored by Senator Jim Banks and Senator Brant Hirschman, will expand the Military Family Relief Fund to all veterans, as General Umbarger just recounted. House Enrolled Act 1009, authored by Representative Randy Fry, assigns the topic of determining the duties, standards, and practices of veteran district service officers, enhancing the ability of our county veteran service officers to make the earned benefits available to our veterans in a more effective way. Senate Enrolled Act 362, authored by Senator Banks and Houchin, extends the Uniformed Services Employment guidelines to the state level. House Enrolled Act 1313, authored by Representative Peggy Mayfield, creates a definition of Hoosier veteran, which has been mentioned to recognize the military service of all veterans in our state. House Enrolled Act 1359, authored by Representative Bob Morris, waives the maximum hiring age restrictions that apply to the appointment and hiring of police officers and firefighters for an individual who is a veteran of the armed forces. If you've worn the uniform of the armed forces, we want to see more and more of you wearing a uniform back here at home. House Enrolled Act 1373, authored by Representative Bruce Borders, extends unemployment protections to Guard members and extends Medicaid eligibility during periods of active duty. Senate Enrolled Act 154, authored by Senators Steele, Kreider, and Arnold, increasing from $4,000 to $8,000. The allowance for members of the Indiana National Guard for those who and their families who are impacted by the loss of life in the service of this state. Senate Enrolled Act 189, Senator Cruz and Banks authored, provides attendance records and academic progress reports for students attending adult high school who are a member of the military. Senate Enrolled Act 219, authored by Senator Glick, Brown, and Buck, requires professional occupation boards to adopt rules to establish procedures to expedite the renewal of a license for those who have served in our military in the state. Senate Enrolled Act 304, authored by Senator Kenley, Holdman, and Hirschman, increases the assessed value limit for the property tax deduction for certain veterans in Indiana. And House Enrolled Act 1187, authored by Representative Mosley, makes committing a stolen valor a Class A misdemeanor, so that we ensure that that individuals who misrepresent themselves as having served our country are held to account in an increasing way under the laws of the land. With all of these bills, which will represent the most pieces of legislation I have ever signed at a single sitting, we will, in a very real sense, I believe that we will improve the lives, expand the benefits, and expand opportunities for veterans in the state of Indiana. And I'm honored as your governor to sign these important measures into law. I was explaining to the kids who are in the back of the room from Allisonville Elementary that they're going to witness today how a bill becomes a law. But I hope everyone here knows that what you're also witnessing today is the people of Indiana, through their elected representatives, in strong and bipartisan voice, saying simply and plainly to the more than 500,000 people who have worn the uniform, and to those of you who wear it still, thank you for your service, and God bless you all.